Hello everybody, it's Wendy and today we're going to make a cute little Halloween necklace using products from the Jesse James Halloween Fright Night collection. So first of all, for our encouraging word today, good actions give strength to ourselves and inspire good actions in others. Plato. So it says, you've just experienced a random act of kindness. Pay it forward. See how much love we can spread. So we definitely need to be spreading love in this world today. It is a really non-loving place to be. So let's spread love and kindness. Okay, so this kit that I'm working out of today is the Halloween mix in Fright Night. It is the bead strand in Gothic Roses, and I'm not using the Pumpkin King clasp because I'm going to use that on a bracelet. So if you want to make this necklace, here's what you're going to need. And I'm not going to move these rings because I have this laid out just like I need it to go. And if I move it, I'm never going to get it back again. So I'm going to be using some artistic wire. This is multicolor, red, gold, and black. It's really cool. I got this from Hobby Lobby. They're having a clearance sale right now, guys. And this wire was $9.99 and I paid $2.49 for it. So it's really cool. Can you see that on the spool? And it's 22 gauge. That's what we're going to be using that today. I've got a bunch of rings from my own stash. Now these rings are just different sized. They're mostly closed rings. These right here are open, but I don't think that's going to affect anything. I hope not. And then I'm using this little Grim Reaper charm. This little cat, which I loved. I loved the expression on his face. This cat and this moon, all from the Fright Night collection. And then I'm using a bunch of the beads from the Fright Night collection. So here they are. I've just got a random bunch of them. And some of these were probably from the bead strand and Gothic Roses as well. I have 4 crimp tubes. I have some jump rings in gunmetal. I have a lobster claw clasp in gunmetal. I have 4 clamshell covers in gunmetal, and I've got a length of gunmetal Coriana chain, and I'm not sure how much of this I'm going to use, but I've got like probably 36 inches of it here. It was just in my scraps. So I pulled it out and we'll use part of it. Okay, I think that's everything you're going to need. Oh, I'm not sure if we're going to use any head pins or eye pins, possibly. I haven't decided yet. So yeah, you may need some of those. And of course, you're going to need your jewelry tools. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is work with this conglomeration of circles right here. Okay, so I'm going to be using this wire, and I'm going to be wire wrapping them to each other. So let me zoom in a little bit here. See if I can pull this up. Here we go. Okay, so I am going to take the charms out because, well, yeah, I think I can remember that. I hope I can. And the beads. And what we want to do is I just want to kind of wire wrap them in this configuration. It doesn't have to be exactly like this. I may switch it around just a tad even. I kind of want it to be uneven, like just a bunch of circles hooked together. So I'm just going to take a small amount of the wire, probably 6 inches to start. Maybe less than that. I don't want to waste. Okay, so this video may seem a little choppy, and the reason for that is when I went to edit it, I realized I was off screen with my wire wrapping. So, yeah, it's really bad when that happens because obviously nobody can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to do a little editing of this video, and I'm going to go ahead and take that part out and wire wrap a few of these rings here so you can see what I was doing. So, sorry about that. We will wire wrap these rings together right now. And I will make sure that I am on the camera. So I'm just cutting a small amount of the wire. It doesn't take much at all. Let me go ahead and zoom in. Okay, and I'm doing these in just a different, I don't want them all to be uniform. I want the whole thing to be kind of, you know, eclectic. Or Chris, I showed this finished product to Chris when I was done, and he said, it's asymmetrical. I'm like, yes, it is. That's what I want it to be. He's like, oh, okay. But, you know, he didn't know that I intended it to be asymmetrical, but I do. I want it to be asymmetrical. So anyway, I'm just going to show you how I'm wrapping these. So I'm just taking 2, putting them, you know, side by side here, and I'm just wrapping the wire around, and the hardest part is getting this started. Once you get it started, it's not hard at all. But I'm just taking my finger, making a little loop there, and then I start wrapping. Okay, gonna go through this one and pull it tight. Now, it doesn't have to be perfect. It can be kind of messy if you want it to be. If you want it to be neat, you can very well make it just, you know, neat little rows side by side. I'm kind of going to do mine a little neater. I don't want it to be really messy, but again, I'm not, you know, if a couple of them overlap or something, it's not a big deal. So, and I'm just wrapping. Now, one thing I'm trying to do is make sure that I keep my rings side by side here and don't cross them like this. Because if you cross them this way, it's just not going to sit as nicely. It's going to kind of, I don't know, it's just not going to sit as nicely. And it's going to make it hard to put the wire down through the middle at the end here, which is what I'm going to do to finish it off so there's not a snag sticking out. So anyway, I'm just going through, and I'm having trouble. There we go. The wire's wanting to spin on me. I'm just taking it around and around. Just making sure that this is tight. That's the main thing. It needs to be tight. I love this wire though, this colored wire. It is so cool. Okay, let's go right on through here. Back up. And back through. Okay. So if you look, my beginning piece here is a little bit loose. So I'm just going to take my plier and try to grab a hold of it and tighten it up a little bit. There we go. That's just the piece that I started with, so I want to tighten it up just a bit. And then you can also, if your wires are a little bit, if you want to scrunch them together like this, you can do that with your plier as well. And you have a little wrap there holding this together. So let me make sure this is tucked down. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around one more time. And then I'm just going to take this wire and I'm just going to go right down the middle right here. See that? Right down the middle of that little wrap. I'm going to grab on the bottom here and pull. I'm just going to pull that tight. And I'm going to cut my wire. And there we have the wrap, little loops wrapped together. Now this one, I'm just going to do on the bottom of these two. Same general idea, just grabbing a small piece of wire. It doesn't take a lot to do this, just a little piece is good. And I'm going to just wrap this one right to this one. So I'm just going to go ahead and get it started here, putting it through the rings and wrapping. In the beginning piece, I don't really worry too much about getting it tucked right away. I mainly just want to get the wire attached to the rings, and then I will go back and worry about tucking that piece because it's just too hard until you get it attached really well here to be able to pull with that piece. So I'm just wrapping around and around. There we go. Okay, so I've got that attached, and I'm just going to take this piece now and tuck it around. My loops are overlapping on this one, my rings, a little more than I would like them to be, but that's okay. All right, I'm going to tuck that little piece right there. I'm going to go through one more time, and then I'm going to try and tuck this to see if I can get it to go down through the middle, but I may have my rings too close to each other. That's what I mean about trying to make sure that you don't overlap your rings, but if you do, you can still just cut the wire and tuck it like normal, but I am going to try to get down through the middle of it. We'll see. Yep, it's going to do it. Okay. So I'll just take my pliers and kind of make it go. There we go. And once you get it started and get it down through there, then you can pull it tight. Okay, I'm just giving it a really tight pull. There we go. There's our second little loop wrapped. I'm going to cut this off. Okay, and then I'm even going to wrap these two to each other. So let me tuck this a little. There's a piece sticking out right here. Okay, just going to tuck it down. Okay, now I'm going to wrap these two to each other. You want it to be pretty solid. I don't want a lot of pieces hanging loose like this because they'll move around. Excuse me. So I am just going to wrap these two together just like this. Okay, and when I do that, I'm going to have a pretty solid little component here. Back up through. Okay, so as you can see, I just got it started there. And then I will tuck this piece. Okay, and keep going with this one. You can wrap as many times or as few times as you want. I try to go around 6 or 7 times, but you don't have to do that. You could just do 2 or 3 as long as your wire is secured in there. Okay, I'm going to lay that little, tuck that little piece down. There we go. And I'm going to take this one, and like we've been doing on the others, just going to go down through the middle with my pliers. Probably, yeah, I'll have to pull it with my pliers here. Come on, get a hold of it. Okay, there we go. And then I'm just going to pull it tight, just like that. And then I will trim this little piece off. Okay, so go ahead with all of your circles. I'm going to take all of my little rings and I'm going to attach them together just like I've been doing here in just a random little pattern. Okay, so do that and then come right back. Okay, so I've got all my circles wired together, and this is the configuration that I came up with. Now you can move them around if you want, whatever you want to do, but one thing you need to make sure of is that all of your little ends of wire are just tucked really well. Okay, so that's one thing. I've gone around, made sure all of my ends of wire are tucked really well. And now I'm going to hang some of the charms on here. So I want him to sit there, and you just have to kind of decide how you want them to go. that one there and that one there. Probably might do him in there. So I'm going to hang these with jump rings. I've just got some small little oval jump rings here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Grab my pliers here. I really like the way this wire looks with the colors are just really cool with this Halloween theme. And I may have to get a little bit bigger jump rings, but I want to try these smaller ones because I really kind of like the way that they look when they're a little bit smaller. But yeah, I think I am going to have to get a bigger one, at least for that one. So let me pull out my jump rings here real quick. I've got a bigger one right here. These are oval jump rings, and I really like the way that they lay. And they hang things just, I think they're a little more secure because the cut in your jump ring is in the middle and not at the bottom or the top. So if something would come open a little bit, you'd be less likely to lose your charm or something before you noticed it. Okay, so there's that one. He's so cute. Okay, I love this cat too. I want him to go right here kind of in the middle. And I may have to use a bigger jump ring for him as well. Maybe not. I don't know. He's kind of got some smaller places on this ring. Yeah, this one should work, I think. Maybe. There we go. Okay. And there he is. He's just kind of going to float around there, I think. Okay, and then maybe the moon here. Is he going to do that? Is he going to float all the way to the bottom there? He may. This may too. You know what? Those probably are not going to hang very well in there. Did not think about that. I may have to wire wrap them because there's no real hole for the jump ring to go in. So yeah, they're kind of floaty. Let's see. I could just wire wrap them right on, I guess. Let's see how that would work. The one on the bottom is fine. This is what happens when you are designing on the fly. Let's see how this would work if I just wire wrap him right on here. Hardest part's getting it started. I'm going to try to go right through the ring again though. There we go. Nope, I'm not getting it through the ring again. Okay, it's not wanting to go through there again. I wish it would because that would be really good probably. There we go. Okay. There we go. Alright, now. I just want him to kind of hang there and stay there. There we go. Okay, I'm going to go through the ring one more time. Pull my wire. Okay, and it's all right if this looks a little messy. The wire wrap can. Whoops, I broke the wire off. Okay, but I got him on there. So I'm going to go around again and just tuck that under. And I'm going to scrunch that together a little bit. That's better. Okay, he's going to stay in place, and I'm just going to take this and try to tuck it a little bit more. Probably need some more precision pliers if I'm going to be doing wire stuff, but there. Yeah, now he'll just kind of hang, I think. If he just hangs in place, we're good. I just don't want him falling over. Okay, so this guy, same thing. I should have anticipated them falling to the bottom of my circle, but I just didn't think about that. So we'll just try to wrap them on, and I think that they will do just fine that way. Seem to be. See if I can do this one a little bit quicker. This is the hardest part. Once we get to the stringing part, it's going to be super easy. But this is kind of hard right here. And it is a struggle, but once it goes through there, it's good. And if it was thinner wire, of course, it would be better. But I didn't want to, I'm not going to use one wire to do this and then bright silver. I mean, one wire to wrap the loops and then bright silver on this. That would look crazy. So it's got to be this wire. And I just have to make it do what I need it to do. There we go. Okay. Now, let's pull this tight. There we go. Go around one more time. And through. And again, thinner wire would have definitely been better, but I didn't have it in the right color, so this is what we got. And it actually isn't looking bad. Okay, so wrap around a couple of times. Go ahead and make sure it's tucked onto the form. You can squeeze that together if you want. I'm going to go ahead and cut this back here and smash it down. Alrighty, that's much better. If my little guy will hang there, we'll be doing fine. This guy's not moving. He's doing okay. I think we're good. Okay, now, so I did want to hang a couple beads as well. So yeah, we would need an eye pin for that, or a head pin. I'm going to use a ball head pin. And I'm just going to hang, I'm going to hang a bead from maybe right here. I like this one. Let me see if the ball goes through it. No. So I'm going to make a little wrapped loop here. Go up and over. and around, and I have to put this on if I want to hang it by the loop, and I don't think I will. I think I'm going to hang it from a jump ring, so I'm just going to go ahead and wrap the loop. If I wanted to hook it directly on there, I would have had to go ahead and put it on before I wrap this, obviously. But I'm just going to wrap it. These beads remind me of tiny pumpkins. Okay, and then I'm going to cut this, and I'm going to hang that with a small jump ring onto that bottom hoop right there. Okay, so we're just going to hang this guy right here. He's super cute. Just like that. Yeah, I like that. Now, if Mr. Kitty will stay where he belongs up here. And what you could do is I could take some wire and just wrap it around beside the wires that are hooking him on, and that will keep him kind of in place. But I'm not going to do that right now because that's going to drive you guys crazy. Okay, so we got this going. Let's see. Do I like it like that, or do I want to add something else? I think I kind of like it like this. So let's go ahead and take our Coriana chain, and we actually need a couple wire guardians as well. So let me find some wire guardians. We're just going to need 2 because I'm hooking these to these rings right here. You wouldn't actually have to use these if you didn't want to. You could just use the clamshell covers. Actually, maybe I will do that. I'm just going to use the clamshell covers. Forget the wire guardians. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the clamshell on like this. So I'm just going to put it on, and then I'm going to put my crimp on here. And I'm just going to crimp it. Now, you don't have to use crimp tubes for this. The only reason that I'm using a crimp tube for this is because this clamshell cover has a big hole in it. The gunmetal ones do. And the regular crimp beads, they go right through it. See, actually the crimp tube is wanting to go right through it as well. They're just really big. So I'm going to make sure it's flattened out really good. I think it's going to be okay. And then close it up here. Yeah, it's good. But these gunmetal ones have really big holes in them for some reason. I don't know. And then I'm just going to hook this onto my ring with a jump ring. And we're going to bead directly on this chain. That's one thing that I love about this chain. You can bead directly on it. It's available on my website if anyone is interested in it. It's Coriana chain, and I've got it in several different metal colors. But right now we're just going to hook that just like that, okay? And then I'm going to cut it. So you kind of have to know how long you like your necklaces to be. A necklace like this I don't want to be real long, and I know that I like it to be 12 inches on each side. Okay, so I am going to cut my Coriana chain at about 12 inches, and I can pretty much guesstimate that. So I'm just going to do it right about there. And then I'm going to crimp the other side just the same way. So put your clamshell cover on. Okay, and then take your crimp tube or crimp bead, whatever you're using, and just crimp it down. And the good thing with this, with these clamshell covers, is they are kind of pretty. I mean, they cover things just like a crimp cover would. So that's one thing I like about them. Smash it flat, make sure it's secure. And then I'm just going to attach it to the other side of my necklace, just like I did that one. And then I'll cut this side of the chain to match. You want to make sure you get these jump rings closed really good, because the clamshell covers have really thin little pieces, and they will come right out if it's not closed good. Okay, all right, so I'm going to even up my chains. That's really super cute. It really is. Okay, so I'm going to even up my chains here and cut them off. Pardon me while I do that really quickly. Okay, now we're going to bead right on the chain. So we have our little component here that's all wired up. And then we can just decide how we want our beads to go. So let me zoom back out a little. Whoops, not in, out. Okay, so let's see here. These are all so cute. Okay, I've got a little pumpkin bead there. So I think I'll start with just a plain little black bead on either side. Find the holes in those. And most beads will go right on this chain. It's so nice. And then to let the chain show is also, I think it's a very elegant chain and pretty. So now I like this yellow bead. Let's see here. Let's do this yellow one. On either side. This is so cute. Love these Halloween colors. Okay, now I'm going to do a little rondelle here. I'm bringing some of the gold. See, if you'll notice, some of these charms have gold on them. Well, this guy's got silver, but some of these have gold. So I want to kind of bring that up into my beading just to kind of tie everything together. So there's the gold, and then I think I'll do one of these crystals. Those are so pretty. Look at those. Beautiful. Okay, and then let's see. How about a small white bead? I like this black sparkly rondelle. Those are cool. And then I think I'll do another one of these little rondelles. And Chris is starting up the motorcycle. Sorry if you guys can hear that. It's a little bit loud. And I think I'll do the orange striped bead next. There we go. These are so cute. Oh, I love this mix. It's so cute. There we go. Okay, then how about a... Then we'll do let's do one of these in between these two. And then the crackle glass yellow. Yeah, just like that. I've got little crimp tubes floating everywhere here. Crackle glass yellow. Okay, and then I'm going to go... See the sparkly black rondelle right here. Another crystal. Let's see, another white bead would be good. And then another small black one. And I think that that might be as far as I'm going to bead up on the sides. Because like I said, this chain is really pretty. It can show. It doesn't look bad if it does. Okay, so there are my two sides. This is super cute. Okay, so I'm going to set these out of the way. Now, if you want to, you can crimp on the chain right here to keep your beads from sliding all around. And I think I may do that. Just take a couple of small gunmetal crimp beads. And there they are, just a couple of small gunmetal crimp beads. And I'm just going to even these pieces up on either side. And I'm just going to put this on and just slide it down and crimp it lightly. All it's going to do is keep your beads from sliding all up and down your chain. And I just like to do that sometimes. Okay, so I just let gravity pull it and just crimp it down. And all it's going to do, like I said, you don't have to crimp it so hard that it, I mean, definitely don't crimp it hard enough to cut your chain. You just want to kind of give it some pressure just so the bead will stay put. Okay, just like this. And I just crimp it down. And that way they just stay put and they don't slide all around on you. Okay, so now we're going to finish this off. And again, we're going to use our crimp tubes and our clamshell covers, which I appear to have lost a clamshell. Oh, there it is. Okay. My beading mat is a mess. It's just a mess. Okay. All right, so I'm going to put my clamshell cover on, my crimp tube, and if you have a clamshell cover with a big hole in it, like this one does, one thing you can do, well, if I have them here in front of me, I will show you. Where are they? I usually have a little vial of clear crimp or clear beads here, the kind of beads that come in between your beads on other things, like on other strands. And I keep a whole little thing of them, but like I said, my bead mat is a mess and I don't see them right now. Oh, here they are. Okay, so these little clear beads right here that come in between, they're just little seed beads and stuff that are in between other beads. You can use those if you want to stick one of those in there before you put your crimp on, then it would keep your, your crimp bead from coming through this gunmetal. This tube works fine for me, but if you just had crimp beads and didn't have crimp tubes, that's one thing that you could do. Because for some reason the gunmetal clamshell tips, they just have really big holes. I don't know why that is. They shouldn't be any different than all the rest of the clamshell tips, but they are. So I'm just going to mash my crimp tube down, pull my cover up and close it. And do the same on this other side. My hands look so dry right now. Chris and I washed the car. Of course, if you follow me, you know that we've been in Gatlinburg twice. He's on a 3-week vacation from work. He gets that when he's been there 5 years, so it's like a reward thing. And we've gone to Gatlinburg twice. We've driven to Raleigh a couple times. We've just been all over with the car. So we were out there washing the car, and then I decided to wash the motorcycle because she was looking pretty crummy herself, and so my hands are all dried out from the soap, I guess. All right, so now we're just going to attach our lobster. So I'm just going to take a jump ring and attach it right here. Just make sure it's closed up really good. Okay. And then I'm going to take one of the larger oval jump rings and I'm going to just make this be the clasp for it to clasp onto. If you wanted to put an extender on, of course you could. But I'm not going to. I'm just going to put him right on here. And there's our necklace. So let me put it on a form and I will come right back and let you see it, okay? Okay, so here's our necklace. I think it turned out really, really cute. Yeah, I really do like it. I think it's adorable. The moon, I'm probably going to have to take off of there and maybe rewire him a little differently because he's kind of hanging sideways, but he's okay for now. But yeah, it's really cute. I like it. It's very whimsical, and I think it matches Little Charms because they're very whimsical as well. So anyway, this is the Jessie James Fright Night Mix. I will have a link for it in the description box below, but this is it right here. Whoops, I knew they were all going to fall out of there. Okay, we'll just make it pretty. But yeah, I love this. I think it turned out really cute. I will have a link, like I said, in the description box below if you're interested in the Fright Night Mix or any of the other Jessie James awesome stuff. They've got lots of Halloween stuff right now. So, yeah, like and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please, please subscribe and ring the bell. It helps me so much, and it's showing in my analytics that most of my watchers aren't subscribers. So please subscribe. That way you know when, and ring the bell. That way you know when I upload videos. But anyway, guys, I am going to get off here and go see where Chris took off on the motorcycle, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.